Mentions the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. I hate these stories. A research expedition sponsored by Ocean Cleanup has returned Sunday with devastating news. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch, floating between California and Hawaii, is much bigger than scientists could imagine. They used 30 boats. The team of scientists spent a month collecting samples and measuring the dimensions of that patch, which they hope to clean up in the future. Good luck. The stretch of accumulated pollution is roughly twice the size of Texas. How do you clean that up? Twice the size of Texas. Now, is that came from the tsunami? Fukushima? Who knows? Okay, I want to get to this story because this is a fun story. And the one that's not fun, because it is the sign of the times. It's where we are in this country. What is really happening? How many zip codes do you think did not have Ashley Madison accounts? How many zip codes? Think about that. Well, Gawker, who is the people that have been uncovering and doing a lot of the story on this, of Ashley Madison. Now, just to set the stage, Ashley Madison, life is short, have an affair. Have a married affair is what they talk about. If you're married and you want to come to us, we'll keep your name private. Well, that is until we get hacked, as did happen. 33 million people got their information hacked, and then it got online, and then people started going there and extorting people and writing to them and saying, unless I get $2,500 by noon tomorrow, I will call your wife or husband. I mean, it's horrible. It is absolutely horrible. And we talked about Josh Duggar being a party to this. A sheriff in a police chief in San Antonio committed suicide when his name became known. And they're now saying that Hunter Biden's name was linked to a membership in Ashley Madison. Of course, he said it was a set-up deal. Really? It was last used in 2014, but he says it's a set-up deal. Hunter Biden. Anyway, out of all the zip codes in the United States, including Alaska and Hawaii, and you know there's some dinky towns in Alaska, guess what? I was shocked. This makes you like see stars. There were only 3 zip codes in America without an Ashley Madison account. I mean, this is like, you've got to be kidding me. Are we that demoralized? Have we descended that much into universal debauchery? Can it be that people are not having marriages anymore? They're having marriages and affairs. Okay, here are the 3 zip codes. The only ones that don't have spouses looking to cheat. Number 1, Nikolai, Alaska. Population 94. Now, if you live in that area, your zip code is 99691. Then you didn't have anyone in that town of 94. By the way, the town dips to below 60, below zero in the winter. So we've got Nikolai, Alaska. The second one is Polvadera. No, wait a second. The second one is Perryville, Alaska. Population 113. There's only 10 households in the entire town that have the internet. And it's indigenous Alaskan. The last one, Polvadera, New Mexico. It's only 4 square miles of rural peace there. Population 269. All the rest of the country, every town, every city has Ashley Madison members. We'll be back after this 1 minute, 10-second break.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa. Her mission to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate, to live, love, laugh, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Fay.
Every Thursday night at 7 on Kcaa, NBC News Radio, AM 1050.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7215.
This is KCAA Loma Linda, the station that leaves no listener behind. CNBC News is next, a courtesy of BuySellMakeOffer.com, where you can post a video about items you have for sale. Sign up now. It's free.
Good morning. I'm Chuck Kamlick, CNBC Radio. Buckle up. Again, stocks are set to rise more than 200 points when the markets open today. After a similar start yesterday, of course, the Dow ended 200 points lower. Abercrombie & Fitch lost $800,000 last quarter because sales fell again. However, the stock will rise because its Hollister stores saw a nice pickup in customer traffic. Brown-Forman's profits rose thanks to demand for its new Tennessee Fire whiskey, its older Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, and its Woodford Reserve brands. Dish Network customers cannot tune into more than 100 local stations. Dish locked in a dispute with station owner Sinclair Broadcasting, one of this country's largest local TV station owners. And Angry Birds maker Rovio is laying off more than a third of its workers. Game app competition is up, profits are down, and the company says it took on too many things lately, like the new Angry Birds movie that's coming out soon. Chuck Kamlick, CNBC Radio.
The 2 for $5 deal at Burger King just got hotter. That's right, we just spiced it up with the new extra long jalapeno cheeseburger. Feel the flame with 2 all-beef patties side by side, stacked with fiery jalapenos. They're like little green firecrackers exploding in your mouth. Oh yeah, did we mention you can get 2 sandwiches at Burger King for just $5? But if that's too much fire for one mouth, you can mix and match with the Big King, Big Fish, or Original Chicken Sandwich. Only at Burger King. Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Have you had trouble with online dating? This is eHarmony founder Dr. Neil Clark Warren. We've created a new solution, EH Plus. EH Plus combines the personal attention of a matchmaker with eHarmony's extensive pool of great singles. EH Plus gives you hand-selected matches and freedom from being online. Get started today. Call 855-930-LOVE. That's 855-930-LOVE.
Consider this your invitation to sell. At BuySellMakeOffer.com, you can sell as much as you want for the next 60 days without paying any fees whatsoever. Sound incredible? It is, and it's true. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the new exciting way to sell your stuff online. Make extra money right now. Sell your old car, furniture, video games, household items, clothes, even your home. Sell anything that's legal. Load up your stuff to sell right now at BuySellMakeOffer.com. This is your official invitation to get on board to sell your stuff right now. Free for the next 60 days. And once you see how easy it is, you'll want to sign up for more because there are no item fees. That's right. Take this opportunity to move items from the other guys and sell it for free. You might even win a Samsung tablet, Amazon gift cards, and other cool prizes. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the future of online selling. You can use Skype to talk to your buyer or seller. Plus, you can use video to showcase your items. BuySellMakeOffer.com.
With your Wednesday news, I'm Jim Miller, KCAA 1050 AM. CNBC News, the station that leaves no listener behind. Here's a look at what's going on. Final person believed to have been involved in a botched drive-by shooting last month, which left a passenger in an alleged shooter's car dead, was arrested and has pled not guilty. 18-year-old Shantae Turner pled not guilty last Friday. Police say Turner, along with alleged driver 23-year-old Kendrick Jackson and 22-year-old James Ely, both of San Bernardino, and 26-year-old Ronald Lewis of Long Beach, involved in a drive-by shooting in the 1200 block of North Blackstone Avenue July 15 when Lewis lost control of the SUV SUV, then crashed into a tree, killing Eli. A former armored truck driver for Loomis sentenced yesterday to almost 5 years in prison for orchestrating the theft of more than $1 million in cash, part of a shipment he was transporting for Bank of America in Los Angeles last year. 38-year-old Cesar Yanez of Fontana pled guilty in April to conspiracy and bank larceny charges in connection with a robbery June 27th. Yanez and fellow Loomis driver Aldo Vega of Pomona transporting a multi-million-dollar shipment of cash for the bank. Victorville man faces more than 360 years in state prison for sexually abusing his young stepdaughter for years after a jury found him guilty Monday on multiple counts of sexually abusing a child and possessing child pornography. 32-year-old Luis Sanchez began molesting the girl when she was just 6. It continued till she was 8 when Sanchez was arrested in 2009. Sanchez's wife called San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies in late February of 2009 after she came home early from work one day and found Sanchez and her daughter behaving strangely. That's your news this Wednesday. I'm Jim Miller, KCAA, 1050 AM, CNBC News, the station that leaves no listener behind.
As the owner of my business, I wear a lot of hats. I'm accounting, sales, and so much more. But I don't know marketing.
Let Dex Media be your marketing department. Our team can create a digital plan for you with everything from search to social. Contact Dex Media, that's DEX Media, to get found, get chosen, and get talked about.
Whoa, that's a job for cleanup, which would be me.
Call 844-230-3436 or visit dexmedia.com today.
Here's your Money Minute with Market Wrap host Mo Ansari.
If you follow the markets, you've probably been getting seasick lately. But what if I told you that market volatility can be a good thing? If you're a bargain hunter, this is your coupon. So keep your shopping list handy. If you're a long-term investor with plenty of time before retirement, the money going into your 401k each month will buy more shares when the markets are down. And if you have a good financial plan, you can relax while others worry, because that plan will carry you beyond today's headlines. Of course, you should always consider professional guidance before making any financial decisions. That's your Money Minute. I'm Mo Ansari.
For more tips on investing during market volatility and other investment topics, listen to Market Wrap weekdays at 5 p.m. on this station. For a free consultation with Mo Ansari, call 800-388-9700. That's 800-388-9700.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor. Funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA SIPC.
This is KCAA.
Good morning, good morning. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. We got Brandon in the booth. How you doing, Brandon?
Hello, I am well.
A live alert, awake, and enthusiastic?
Yep.
It's my typical morning question. So before we get started, I want to let everybody know all the ways you can listen to KCAA AM 1050. You can find us at 1050 on the AM dial. You can also find us at kcaaradio.com, where you'll find links to all of our social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. You also find our embedded Ustream feed. Yes, we have a camera in the studio. Or you can click through and watch it on Ustream if you want. There's a button to click to listen right online. If you don't have the internet and you don't have a radio, or you're going to be somewhere where you don't have a radio, you can call to listen at 832-999-1050, 832-999-1050. If you have an Android device, you can listen at kcaaexpress.com. If you have an Apple device, you can listen using the TuneIn app. So Mr. Trump is in the news again.
Yes, he is. He crossed a line, Aaron.
He did. Why don't you talk about that?
Well, apparently he crossed a line with Fox News. So, okay, now, Donald Trump's finally gone too far. Really? Finally gone too far, Aaron? Okay. The Republican presidential candidate managed to remain on decent terms with Fox News after he first slammed Megyn Kelly, but his latest remarks on the Fox host have apparently finally crossed the line as far as the network is concerned. Roger Ailes released a statement today, and it does not sound too pleased. Here's an excerpt from USA Today from his Roger Ailes quote. Donald Trump's surprise and unprovoked attack on Megyn Kelly during her show last night is as unacceptable as it is disturbing. Megyn Kelly represents the very best of American journalism, and all of us at Fox News Channel reject the crude and irresponsible attempts to suggest otherwise. Donald Trump rarely apologizes, although in this case he should. And Trump's quick response, of course, I totally agree with the Fox statement. I do not think Megyn Kelly is a quality journalist. I think her questioning of me, despite all the polls saying I won the debate, was very unfair. Hopefully in the future I'll be proven wrong, and she will be able to elevate her standards to a level of professionalism that a network such as Fox deserves.
Okay, like I have said before, first of all, well, the definition of bimbo is somebody who is empty-headed and very attractive but empty-headed. Megyn Kelly is not empty-headed, not even close.
Yeah.
She's smart as a whip. And can you imagine, and I've said this before, can you imagine Reagan, Truman, Kennedy, either one of the Bushes whining that the people were that the moderator of a debate were being mean to them and unfair.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous, and and then this other story that broke late last night with Trump kicking Jorge Ramos from Univision out of a press conference,
which is unbelievable. He is the top reporter, the top journalist for
the major Hispanic news agency, right?
Yes, yes.
You don't. This man is running a campaign that's designed to tick off very large demographic parts of the population. Women, Latinos. He doesn't care. But the thing is you can't win a general election that way. You may be able to fire up a certain segment of,
and they are fired up.
That are fired up,
and they're being as nasty and name-calling as he is.
Yeah, but it's self-destructive. It's destructive to the Republican Party. And if the left must just be eating this stuff up.
The left, if they had to develop a candidate, if they were to draw a candidate or find a candidate that most typified the negative stereotypes of the Republican Party, they couldn't have picked anyone better.
I know. And this, he reminds me of the stories we heard in the last few election cycles about people like Christine O'Donnell or Todd Akin, these extremists who were able to win in a primary situation, but were absolutely unelectable in a general election because they were so kooky. And that's exactly how I feel about Trump. And it's just damaging. I mean, this guy needs to be, he needs to be marginalized. And I don't know how you do that. And most people say it won't happen until the Republican field begins to shrink and voters, can begin to consolidate around a more reasonable and responsible candidate. But until then, Trump is going to get a lot of media.
Well, and that's it. I mean, he's kind of sucking the oxygen out of the air. We've continuously talked about him because, he keeps doing things that are increasingly outrageous.
But we haven't talked about him in a positive way at all, and
no, that's true. There's nothing positive to say.
Yeah. There's been no positive analysis of any of his policy proposals because, frankly, he doesn't have policy proposals, and the ones that he's put forward are so laughable, so ridiculous, so outlandish,
yes,
that you can't even give them serious consideration.
It's funny. So what happened with Jorge Ramos?
Yes.
So what happened with Jorge Ramos is that Donald Trump was giving a press conference, and he called on another reporter, and Jorge Ramos stood up and said, and very politely started asking him questions. And Trump's reaction was, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. And then he had him kicked out. Go back to Univision is what he said. Now, remember, Univision dropped Donald Trump after Donald Trump called Mexican immigrants rapists and child molesters or something like that.
They were supposed to handle the Miss America or Miss Universe.
Miss Universe. That's the pageant that he's a part owner in.
Yeah, and so they dropped that, and now he's got some lawsuit against Univision.
Exactly, and the problem with it, I suggest to Mr. Trump that he watches The West Wing and sees how C.J. Craig manages the press.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he would have turned to him and said, "Hang on, you're second. Sit tight. I'll get to you next," and then go back to the gentleman he originally called, it would have diffused the situation.
And there are certain people out there that saying, this shows strength because he stood up to this reporter. I don't believe that it shows strength at all. In fact, it shows weakness. It shows his inability to actually answer questions from people who might challenge him. Because he won't even allow them to ask the question. He'll kick them out of the room.
Exactly.
And if someone like when Megyn Kelly actually did ask him the question, what does he do? Instead of dealing with his answers and the fact that he doesn't have answers, he belittles them and attacks them and calls them names.
Yes.
But
the thing about it with his non-answers, there's lots of political types who have non-answers in debates.
Yeah.
Every single debate that you'll see political types get a hard question and they'll dance around it and never quite answer it.
Yeah.
And that's the finesse that politics requires. And whether you like it or not, that's how the job is done. And, he handled it the way he handled it, but it would have been a non-story, except that he keeps shooting his mouth off again.
Yeah.
He'll take to Twitter and start the fight all over again.
Yeah.
Again, if a Democrat could not have designed a more perfect candidate that typifies what it means, the ugly stereotypes of the GOP.
You think about how they twisted the image of Mitt Romney in the last election.
Yes.
Trump is richer than Romney was, and actually is as mean and obnoxious and horrible as they tried to paint Romney, when Romney was actually a really decent guy.
Yes.
And Trump is just giving them gift after gift after gift of horrible, stupid statements that, that not only will they use to attach to him, but they'll attach it to every other candidate they can.
Yes.
Because they'll make them comment on it.
Yes, they will. And here's the thing, too. This is making international media.
Yeah.
And the international media cannot understand how this guy is the front runner on the GOP side. And as a GOP member, I can't either at all.
Yeah.
It speaks horribly about our party and about the state of our nation, and the man needs to go away.
Yeah. And sadly, there's a large number of people that are enjoying this for what I call entertainment value.
Indeed.
Without recognizing the fact that we're actually talking about electing a president, which is a very serious civic responsibility. And so for people to be sort of jumping on the bandwagon and making the weird comments that you see online, like, yippee, I'm glad he said it, da-da-da.
Trump is strong, the others are weak. What do you mean? They're not, they don't fold, he doesn't fold. What does that mean?
But they're like the people that are drunk at a Raiders game.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They're there for the spectacle, they're there for the fun.
Yeah. They're going to start painting their faces soon.
But they don't realize just how important this process really is.
Yes.
That we need to be more serious and more sober about how we are dealing with these issues.
Indeed.
Crazy.
Well, it's time for a break. It's 6:15 still. I'm Aaron Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. We'll be right back.
I went from San Diego to Kalamazoo just to get away from you.
Wishing for a little bit more information? You'll get it all here on KCAA Radio, AM 1050.
In advice to baseball rookies, Hall of Fame star Ted Williams said, "If you don't think too good, don't think too much." This should be taken to heart by Bush League congressional leader John Boehner. The Republican Speaker of the House keeps thinking he can knock President Barack Obama out of the game by killing his signature Obamacare health program. Even though the landmark law was passed by Congress, has now been upheld twice by the Supreme Court, and is providing essential coverage for millions of previously uninsured Americans, Boehner is still swatting at it. With his Koch-funded Tea Party majority in control, the House has now swung mightily at Obamacare 67 times, and 67 times they've whiffed. Unable to win on the legislative field of play, the Speaker thought, and suddenly, eureka! The way to beat Obama, he decided, is to get the judicial umpires of America's constitutional game, the Supreme Court, not just to umpire, but to join his team as partisan players. So Boehner and his lawyers have run to the courts, throwing a political tantrum over some funds that Obama spent to administer an obscure provision in the health care law. The president threw an illegal spitter at us, they cried. By spending that money, he usurped Congress's authority over appropriations. Wailing that this is a crass case of his constant abuse of executive power, they're pleading with the judges to do what their sorry team can't get done, despite having control of both houses of Congress. This is Jim Hightower saying, what a bunch of losers. Where were they when the Bush-Cheney regime was autocratically flouting congressional authority? Cheering them on, that's where. And yet they wonder why their public approval rating is down to only 17%. And those people who approve are probably family members, anti-Obama nuts, or corporate lobbyists.
Aaron Brinker. Brinker. It's time for traffic here on KCAA AM 1050. In Corona, we have stop-and-go traffic on the 91 westbound between McKinley Street and Green River Road, and the 71 south is busy between Euclid Avenue and the 91. In Ontario, we have slow traffic on the 60 westbound between Vineyard and the 57 Orange Freeway. The 10 west is slow and go from Archibald to the 57. The 210 west is busy in patches between Haven Avenue and Foothill. In Ukaipa, there's a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane on the I-10 eastbound at Live Oak Canyon Road at Oak Glen Road. In Corona, we have slow traffic on the I-15 northbound between Wyrick Road and Cajalco Road, and Moreno Valley on the I-215 northbound between Alessandro Boulevard and University Avenue. The 60 west is busy between Day Street and the 215. This is KCAA AM 1050, and I'm Erin Brinker.
Hi, this is Steve Aladort from Rancho Financial with the Mortgage Minute. With property values increasing, this might be the perfect time to do a loan checkup to see if it makes sense to refinance. Do you have an equity line? If your equity line is getting close to 10 years old, your payment is about to fully amortize. Coupled with the certainty that the feds will soon increase short-term rates, there might be a substantial jump in payment on your line of credit. If we combine your current loan, equity line, and possibly even some of your credit debt, there could be a substantial reduction in what you have to pay each month. Do you have VA eligibility? VA will allow 100% cash-out financing. This may be a perfect time to use your eligibility. We can go 85% cash out with FHA or 80% with a standard conventional loan. There are many possible options that could make a huge difference in your monthly payments. That's why you need a loan financial planner to provide you with all of your possible options. Give me a call, Steve Aladort, at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070, or go to loanfinancialplanner.com.
Tired of spending too much money on an ad and then trying to find your ad in the newspaper, buried among hundreds, even thousands of other ads? Isn't it time you got a great deal when you were trying to sell that car, that dining room set, that refrigerator, or offering your handyman services? Now you can in the Nickel Shopper. For as little as $7.50 per week, your ad can be seen by thousands of eyeballs in the high desert, and they're getting the Nickel Shopper for free. Call today to place your ad in the Nickel Shopper, 760-646-3654, or go to thenickelshopper.com for all the details, 760-646-3654. The Nickel Shopper, now in the IE.
KCAA Loma Linda.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. Got to tell you, in the second half of the show, we're going to be talking to Karen Blanco from Children's Fund. She's with us once a month, and she'll bring Bill with her. Will be a special guest talking about a special event they have coming up.
Awesome.
So I got to tell a middle school story.
Oh.
And actually, Tobin, I want you to read this. Middle school kids can get a little clumsy.
They can. And if you've got anything valuable around, be careful because they might damage it.
They might damage it. So why don't you read that, Tobin?
Okay. Kid trips into a $1.5 million painting, Aaron. $1.5 million, that's all. No big deal.
No big deal.
Okay. Elsewhere in the world, terrorists threaten art and antiquities. But in Taiwan, it's tween boys that are holding beverages that are the threat. Yep, that's right. A 12-year-old taking a guided tour with his mom at an art exhibit in Taipei lived out what was probably his and his mother's worst nightmare when he tripped next to a painting that was worth about $1.5 million, putting his fist right through it as he tried to break his fall.
Whoops.
This is according to the Focus Taiwan reports. He left a large gash in the bottom right of a Paulo Porpora's flowers. It's an oil on canvas said to be about 350 years old, and there were between 200 and 300 visitors at the exhibit when the mishap occurred. Video footage of the exhibit at the Husan 1914 Creative Park shows the boys strolling past the ropes that separate the painting from the public. He's got his drink in his right hand until he loses his balance and falls over the ropes into the painting. He appears stunned, looks for reaction from the spectators until he walks away with the woman who appears to be a museum worker. The exhibit organizer, however, isn't going to make the boy's family pay for the damages. The painting, the only one that's actually signed by Porpora, is insured. It's as The Guardian notes. A post on the exhibit's Facebook page reads, per the paper that all 55 paintings at the venue are authentic pieces and they're very rare and precious. Once these works are damaged, they are permanently damaged. Another Facebook post, however, thanks a restorer for fixing the painting up as best as could. The restoration of the painting was possible because of the high skills and talent of Mr. Leo Tsai. It reads. Wow.
Or it read.
It read.
So you're around middle school kids all the time, and they grow really fast during that period of time in their lives, and their feet are too big and their limbs are too gangly, and he tripped.
Yeah, kids are stumbling and bumbling and falling all over the classroom all the time. It's not uncommon to be sitting there and all of a sudden you hear a little crash in the back of the room or something, and some kids tipped over in their chair or stood up too quickly and knocked something over. It's like, okay.
I just had to share this story because it's, it's your worst nightmare. I mean, we talk about a bowl in a china shop. You see these precious paintings or wherever you are, precious, sculpture or whatever. And this is the worst nightmare of pretty much anybody who goes into an art museum.
And a lot of the high-end art museums, they actually have docents that are standing right next to the paintings to make sure that nobody gets too close. And because you always get the people who want to get up, maybe even try to touch it, which would be horrible, and they, slap your hand away.
Yes.
And I'm thinking there's a couple different movies that had scenes like that where they had the kid trying to get up and touch it.
Yes. I think Mr. Bean has something like that with the Mona Lisa.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, this story just made me laugh. Oh,
wow.
My gosh. So there's another story. The Spam King has likely sent you a message. And, I get so much spam, and it's sometimes there's so much of it that sifting through it and finding the real emails is difficult. So you may not be familiar with the name Sanford Wallace, but there's a decent chance he sent you a message a time or two. The 47-year-old self-anointed Spam King has pleaded guilty to accessing Facebook servers and sending out more than 27 million messages to users. And this is according to Bloomberg. The fraud and criminal contempt charges could get him up to 3 years in prison when he's sentenced, along with a fine of $250,000. If Wallace didn't connect with you on Facebook, he may have done so via email, MySpace, phishing, or even in the days before the internet junk faxes. And this reporting is according to Engadget. Wallace has racked up more than $4 million in fines, notes the website, but he's dodged them thanks to bankruptcy. He could not, however, dodge the FBI criminal investigation that might now land him in jail.
What a colorful, interesting guy, Aaron.
Uh-huh.
He must be living a fascinating life, sitting at his computer terminal, sending out all those amazing messages
in his mom's basement.
To so many new friends.
Yes. God, talk about the creepy guy in the basement. There's a picture of him.
He looks creepy.
He looks creepy.
Yeah.
And this is one of the most hated men in America because everybody hates spam.
Yeah, and in fact, I had an old email account with AOL way back in the day.
Yes, well, because we got AOL in 1994.
Yeah, and there was a certain point where the spam outweighed the regular mail by such a degree that I finally went ahead and opened a new email account, and I'm kind of starting to get to the point with that one where I'm seeing enough spam and I'm thinking, you know what, I need to maybe just kill it and start another new one, because that's the only way to avoid the spammers for a while is to start a new account before they can find you again.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think there's a special place in hell for people like this because he's so annoying and so obtrusive and so obnoxious.
You got to figure
that
the only way that these guys that you continue doing this is if they're actually making money at it.
Well, of course they're making money.
That means there's some gullible person out there that's clicking on these things and paying for stuff and doing things.
Yes.
Crazy.
If it didn't work, people wouldn't do it.
Yep. Exactly.
So, yeah. And so, I've got to tell people out there, if there's something, the miracle drug does not exist.
Yeah.
There's nobody in Nigeria or wherever that wants to give you $1 billion. All of these, if it's too good to be true, if it sounds too good to be true, then it is.
Yeah.
So, okay, one more story before we go to break. nothing is private anymore.
No.
And there's nothing sacred. So the next time you try breaking up with someone on an airplane, consider who might be sitting nearby and tweeting about it. A New Yorker yesterday live tweeted what she described as a sobbing, bitter, 90-minute breakup argument just a few seats over from her on a delayed flight. And this is according to the New York Post. The guy on the plane just broke up with his girlfriend, and she's sobbing, all caps. Posted Kelly Keegs, along with a photo of the guy and a blonde woman covering her face. It continued 10 minutes later with highlights of Keegs' tweets from Mediate. So one of the tweets is, "Great, just great. I'm so glad I paid $40 extra to be on this effing flight with you." This is from the girl.
Yeah.
From the guy, "I don't care. I'm glad you don't care." And so she's live tweeting this along with a picture. And, it used to be that people would be annoyed as something dramatic was going on next to them.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They did their best not to eavesdrop because that was considered tacky.
Yeah.
Now everybody eavesdrops and they tweet about it, and it's the gossip is instantaneous.
Yeah, now you get up in their face and you're with your camera filming
Yes.
them and
Yes, exactly. Everybody is a tabloid. What are they called? The
stalkers with the cameras.
Yes,
the paparazzi.
Paparazzi. That's the word
There
I
we
was
go.
looking for. Everybody thinks they're paparazzi now.
Yeah, well, and I wonder, because when I first read this, I thought to myself, I wonder if this is a put on. I wonder if this quote unquote dramatic breakup was just two sort of dramatic people just having fun. Let's put on a show for the people on the plane. You know what I mean?
I don't think so.
No, I think people have become much more sort of exhibitionists, and you want your 15 seconds of fame, right? So you people are doing more outlandish things to end up on the camera.
Well, she also wrote that the two were so drunk they came on the plane and she said they came on the plane and I just thought they were loud and annoying at first, but when she shrieked and started crying, cut to me tweeting everything, them being so oblivious and everyone talking stuff about them and the guy spilling the words biggest Bloody Mary, world's biggest Bloody Mary on his khakis. Apparently this was just a knockdown drag out.
Yeah, she says that they immediately ordered 6 vodkas and Bloody Mary mix for the 50-minute flight and chugged them in silence. And then between the fighting, they started making out. So, and that's the part that made me think that this was a put on, because you don't go from breaking up to making out, breaking up to making.
If you're in the air and you've had 3 Bloody Marys, then maybe you do.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm skeptical. I'm one of these people. I think there's just they're just actors putting on a show.
Actor with a hand up. Actor. Okay, it's 6:30. It's time for a break. When we get back, we'll be talking with Karen Blanco from Children's Fund. Excited about that. I'm Aaron Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
We're on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. We'll be right back.
Don't miss a minute of the action. Check out the podcasts at www.kcaaradio.com. The station that leaves no listener behind, AM 1050 KCAA.
California headline news: low-key return home for one of the 3 Sacramento men hailed as heroes for stopping a terrorist attack on a European train. Anthony Sadler stayed clear of the public and reporters upon his return to Sacramento Tuesday night, but his fellow passenger met him.
I realized who he was. I recognized him a little bit, and then the person sitting next to me knew exactly who he was. So when I got off the plane, I made it a point to get over there and say, "Hey, Anthony, thank you so much."
Sadler stayed in a hotel last night in hopes of getting some rest. The city planning a parade for him and his 2 friends. In San Francisco, a tourist from Thailand has his camera stolen. The man ran after the suspects. They shot him in the shoulder. Police moved in. The suspects led police on a high-speed pursuit. One was arrested. The other ran, at one point grabbing a boy's arm.
Anytime that someone chooses to do that, that would be kidnapping, that would be false imprisonment.
That suspect eventually arrested. The boy is okay. Getting expensive to buy eggs. Department of Agriculture saying the benchmark egg prices in California are up 150%. Geico weather, more warm and dry conditions. Jeff Scott, California News.
What's that sound you're hearing, California? Might sound like a regular train. It's not. It's a savings train. And the lucky people boarding it just switched to Geico and saved money on their car insurance.
All aboard! Next up, Cha-Ching City! Then on to Blissburg!
Yep, California. That's the sound of savings.
For a free rate quote, visit geico.com and see how much you could save. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And now, a touching moment. Well, staying in touch with Geico.
It was a warm summer day. I was just sitting on a porch watching a babbling brook roll by.
Then, out of the blue, I got an update from my Geico app saying my claim had been processed. I felt so connected to nature, to Geico. I stayed there the whole afternoon until that guy told me to stop trespassing on his porch. Sheesh, what was his problem?
Claim status updates just a few taps away on the Geico app.
It's time for the KCAA Community Calendar, brought to you exclusively by Learn for Life, a growing network of public charter schools. The clear mission of Learn for Life is to motivate and mentor students who have dropped out of school and provide them with the personalized education and technical training necessary to advance their lives. KCAA Radio wants you to take extra precautions if you work in the sun or in any hot environment this summer, especially if you're a senior citizen and if you take certain medications. Be aware that antidepressants and antihistamines act on an area of the brain that controls the skin's ability to produce sweat. Sweating is the body's natural cooling system, so if you can't sweat, you risk getting overheated. Also, beta blockers reduce the ability of the heart and lungs to adapt to stress, including the stress associated with working in a hot environment. Therefore, beta blockers can, under certain conditions, contribute to the likelihood of a heat stroke and other heat-related illnesses. Did you know that amphetamines can raise body temperature? Did you know that diuretics encourage fluid loss, which can quickly lead to dehydration in hot weather? Did you know that sedatives can reduce a person's awareness of physical discomfort, which means symptoms of heat stress could be ignored? Did you know that decongestants can decrease blood flow to the skin, which impacts the blood's ability to cool down? Well, if you didn't know it before this announcement, you certainly know it now. So take this message seriously. Take care of yourself when you're working in the heat. Stay hydrated, work slower, and take breaks to cool down. This message is from KCAA. The KCAA Community Calendar is presented exclusively by Learn for Life, a growing network of public charter schools where students can complete their education on a part-time basis. To find a resource center nearest you, call 1-877-360-LEARN or visit Learn for Life online at learn4life.org. Here's all you need to know. There's a new cool way to sell your unwanted stuff online. It's buysellmakeoffer.com. buysellmakeoffer.com. You're not going to believe it. Join the legions of web sellers and buyers who are turning to buysellmakeoffer.com today. Never pay fees again. For a low monthly membership of $7.95, you can sell up to 50 items, and there's a 60-day free trial membership to get you started. You can even produce your own infomercial to sell your products and upload the video for the world to see. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com.
A journey of 1,000 words begins here at AM 1050 KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
We're on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. We are joined now by Karen Blanco. She is the Director of Marketing and Public Relations for Children's Fund here in San Bernardino County. Karen, welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you both doing this morning?
Doing absolutely fantastic. How are you?
I'm great.
So you have a special guest with you.
I do.
Would you like to introduce her?
Yes. This is Faith Powell. She's 11 years old from Highland. And Faith, tell us a little bit why we're talking to you this morning.
You are talking to me because I have created something that you said is kind of special for an 11-year-old to do something so big like this.
All right. What are you doing, Faith?
I'm having a shoe drive for my birthday, and with that, I send it to a nice little company that gives me money for the shoes that each pound that I earned, and with that money, I buy shoes for kids in foster care.
So you're selling shoes? When your shoe drive, are you collecting shoes or are you selling shoes?
Well, I'm collecting them, and then I'm giving them to the company.
Ah, and they're buying them from you.
The
Yeah.
company, I think, is Cash for Shoes. Is that right, Faith?
Yes, it is.
So Cash for Shoes is the name of it. And Karen, we can barely hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, I don't know why, but I'll try and talk louder. So, So, Faith, I think what you're asking people to do is to donate shoes, correct? And then you turn around and you sell them, and then you use that money so that you can get gifts for the kids during the holidays. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Ah, that's terrific. Now, is this the first year you're doing this, or have you done this before?
I did it before I turned the age of 10, so
Wow.
this is my second one.
Wow, that's impressive.
And how many shoes do you hope to collect?
Well, I don't really have a certain goal, but as long as it's going to them, it's fine, but I've collected a lot so far.
How many have you collected so far? Do you know?
I've collected over 600.
Wow, that's really fantastic. So,
and there's even places, different companies that people can drop the shoes off. Isn't that right, Faith?
Yes, that is.
and where can they drop them off?
Sorry, what?
Where can they drop the shoes off for you?
Well, there's 3 in Redlands. There is Redlands Gymnastics Club, or RGC. Then there's Clement Middle School, and then there's a jiu-jitsu place there too.
No,
and then
go ahead.
There's one in Rancho Cucamonga, and it's called Supercuts, and then Maui Wowie in Highland, and Goosey.
Nicotina at Restaurant in Highland as well.
Yeah.
And S&S Inland Star Mercedes. And also, if anyone would like, they can also grab.
You know what, Karen? I'm going to ask you to hang up and call back. We cannot hear you.
Okay. All right, bye.
Bye-bye. So she's going to call us back.
Yeah.
So do you go to a Clement Middle School?
Yes, I do.
So, Faith, what made you decide that this was something you wanted to do? How did you get started with all this?
Well, when I was in foster care at 3 years old, I didn't have many toys. And when I was almost about to turn 10, I was like, you know what, I should do a shoe drive. And then with the money that I earn with that shoe drive from each pound, I should buy toys for kids in foster care because I didn't have any shoes when I was in foster care. So you could say that one of my famous quotes is, I was in their shoes.
Oh my gosh, that is such an incredible story. So you are no longer in foster care?
No, I was adopted at the age of 3 to my wonderful parents.
That is wonderful.
That is wonderful.
I love that you have such a big heart and you want to give back too. That really speaks volumes about who you are and how your parents have raised you too. I think that's just wonderful.
Now, are your teachers supportive at Clement Middle School?
Did we lose Faith? Faith, are you still there?
What?
Faith, are you still there?
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I didn't hear it.
Okay. Are your teachers supportive? Are they helping you at your middle school?
Yeah, my principal started doing the shoe drive there, and it's actually
Oh. Can you say that again, Faith? I think your call dropped out for a second.
Okay. My principal said that he would help me with it, and he is. So today they have started the shoe drive, and people can donate to the middle school.
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. It's so exciting that you're doing this.
So I have another question about shoes. So let's say I want to drop off some shoes. Do they have to be kids' shoes? Can they be adult shoes? Any kind of shoes?
They can be any kind of shoes.
And do they need to be brand new shoes, or can they be slightly used? I mean, what kind of shoes are you looking for?
They can be slightly used. They can be used as long as they don't have a bunch of holes in them or rips.
Or stink.
Because I'm thinking about our kids. Sometimes you buy them shoes and they grow so quick they barely wore them, and you still have these shoes sort of sitting around. Those might be perfect shoes to donate.
Now, do we have Karen on the line?
Can you guys hear me now?
Ah, that's much better.
Much better.
Yes. Hi, Karen.
Oh, good. Okay. So I just want to thank Faith personally because it's so wonderful that she's doing this and that she's selected Children's Fund to reach out to get things for. And if I understand correctly, I believe that the shoes then get sent over to like third world countries and so forth, so that people can actually wear these shoes again. Is that correct, Faith?
Yes, they do get sent internationally around the world.
Right. So you're actually helping twice, because you're collecting shoes that's going to help people in the international realm, and then you're helping people here locally. So I just think that's wonderful. For an 11-year-old, we call that kids helping kids.
Oh my gosh! There's I can't. I'm speechless. It's so wonderful that an 11-year-old would put out this effort to get shoes for people who need them. And what a big heart you have, Faith. I'm so proud of you.
And this is in lieu of her birthday present.
Oh wow, that's even better.
Yeah.
When's your birthday, Faith?
What?
When is your birthday?
Faith?
Maybe her phone cut out. It cut out on us a minute ago, too, so I'm not sure
Yeah.
if we heard that or she heard that. When's your birthday?
August 9th, 2004.
Well,
okay.
happy birthday.
Yeah.
Right. And anyone can also drop their shoes off at Children's Fund as well through this Friday. And, of course, that's at 348 West Hospitality Lane. And if you want to learn more about Children's Fund and how you can help and do things, or if you want to connect with Faith, you can call us at 909-379-0000 or catch us online at childrensfundonline.org.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us today. Faith, keep doing what you're doing. You're just an amazing kid. And Karen, as always, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having us. And Faith, keep going, girl. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So we've been talking with Karen Blanco. She is the Director of Public Relations and Communications at Public Relations at at Children's Fund here in San Bernardino. Wonderful organization that serves foster kids throughout the county. And then her guest and Faith is an 11-year-old, Faith Powell, 11-year-old at Clement Middle School, who is collecting shoes to benefit both needy people abroad and here in the Inland Empire. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
It's time for a break. We are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, and we'll be right back.
The most diversified radio station on the dial, AM 1050 KCAA.
Hey, this is Steve Sanchez, and do you know in 2007, I went off to the doctor for a basic checkup, and he informed me, Steve, you got plaque built up around your heart, and you're going to need stents. I informed him, with no offense, doc, I need a second opinion. I go off to a naturopathic doctor, and he introduces me to something called Zango. It's a juice made of the whole mangosteen fruit. You know, the mangosteen fruit has been used for centuries for healing. So, hey, what do I have to lose? I tried it. 3 months later, I go back to my cardiologist, no plaque, no stents, and I'm proud to say 7.5 years later, I'm stent-free. I want to turn you on to Zango because it's the only true 100% mangosteen fruit juice. It's patented. In fact, the Mayo Clinic is paying attention because they're doing an extensive study because they cannot ignore all the testimonials around the world. I want to give you a free sample of the Zango juice today. Simply call 888-309-5656. That's 888-309-5656 for your free mangosteen juice sample today from the company called Zango.
Are you looking for the right place to purchase your landscaping items? Well, come see us at Hydroscape. Hydroscape offers a large selection of irrigation products including Irritrol and Toro, such as their efficient precision nozzles. For 40 years, Hydroscape has been family-owned and operated, serving Southern California. With 17 locations, our knowledgeable and experienced staff is equipped to help you with all your irrigation, landscape, and outdoor living projects. Whether you're installing irrigation systems, wanting to maintain a healthy landscape, or simply create a beautiful lit space for outdoor entertaining, Hydroscape is the place to go. Visit our website at hydroscape.com for more information and find helpful articles on our blog, or call our customer service center at 1-800-395-4477.
Here's your Money Minute with Market Wrap host Mo Ansari.
If you follow the markets, you've probably been getting seasick lately. But what if I told you that market volatility can be a good thing? If you're a bargain hunter, this is your coupon. So keep your shopping list handy. If you're a long-term investor with plenty of time before retirement, the money going into your 401k each month will buy more shares when the markets are down. And if you have a good financial plan, you can relax while others worry, because that plan will carry you beyond today's headlines. Of course, you should always consider professional guidance before making any financial decisions. That's your Money Minute. I'm Mo Ansari.
For more tips on investing during market volatility and other investment topics, listen to Market Wrap weekdays at 5 p.m. on this station. For a free consultation with Mo Ansari, call 800-388-9700. That's 800-388-9700.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor. Funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA SIPC.
We know you're there. We can hear you talking on AM 1050 KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. So at the top of the show, we talked about the GOP side of the Republican race, or the GOP side of the presidential race. Now we got to talk about the Democrat side.
Yeah, we do. Looks like things are heating up, Aaron.
They are heating up. Well, they're certainly getting interesting. Obama has given Biden his, well, quote-unquote blessing. A big day for Joe Biden. Over lunch at the White House, he received President Obama's blessing to run for the Oval Office. A top Democrat gave CNN the news and said Obama would neither advise Biden against running nor hinder his candidacy. What's more, sources say Biden is sitting down tonight with two of Obama's top advisors, Anita Dunn and Bob Bauer, along with Steve Ricchetti, Biden's chief of staff. And Biden plans to meet with Democratic fundraisers at the Naval Observatory in Washington the week after Labor Day. And this is according to the Washington Post. Along with Dunn, Bauer, and Biden, Biden confidant Ted Kaufman will be joining them. As several insiders tell CNN, Biden thinks he's going to run, which puts Obama in a delicate position, the AP reports. He clearly wants his policies on climate change, healthcare, and immigration to endure, which likely requires a Democratic president. Certainly, he's got something at stake here. White House spokesman Josh Earnest said today, but Obama insider said he wouldn't tip the scales between Biden and Hillary Clinton. Not in public. I'm sure there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
Run, Joe, run.
Yeah.
Run, Joe, run.
Yeah. Like I said before, if you would have said to me a month ago, should Joe Biden get in? It's like, no, it's so late. And, Hillary seems to have some momentum. And, then there's Sanders that seems to be getting traction. And I think she's done.
I think she might be too. And what's interesting is the analysis of what happens if Biden gets in, that where his votes will come from and the kind of campaign that he'll have to run. Essentially, his positions are very similar to Hillary. So how does he make a case that he's somehow different? Which means the case he's going to have to make is that he's trustworthy and she's not.
And she's not, right? It has to be about her scandals.
Exactly. And so he's going to have to go at her. So it's not going to be a all hearts and roses campaign. It will be a fairly, in your face, examination of who she is and the scandals that follow her.
Now, Hillary Clinton is a bare knuckle fighter.
Yep.
She's not going to go down without a fight.
Yeah.
Although I say that, and she has been so cagey with the military, with the media, that it's unlike her running for president. I mean,
Yeah.
she's really separated herself because she can't stand the questions that she's getting right now.
Yeah.
And so, maybe she will be quiet about it and just disappear into the night.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how these various people deal with these things. Hillary just puts a rope line up and refuses to answer the questions. Trump kicks him out of his, press conference and belittles them. Biden, though, I think will be a very different type of candidate.
He's very a glad-hander. He is very outgoing, very affable.
Yeah.
He's got that 10,000-watt smile.
Friendly guy.
Friendly Joe.
Right?
Do you think his age will be an issue?
I think it will, but I think it won't. If it becomes an issue, it's more likely an issue in the general election than it is in the primary.
Well, and he's younger than Bernie Sanders, isn't he?
No, actually, I think he's a little bit older than Bernie Sanders. But
yeah. Okay.
he would be the oldest. If he was to win the primary and win the general, he would be the oldest president ever. But I think, age is becoming less of an issue. I know that they made fun of John McCain's age when he ran, but obviously he's still kicking and going strong, and I think people are reevaluating that. And as the baby boomers have gotten older, I think they've redefined what it means to be old.
Okay, I just looked it up. Bernie Sanders is 1 year older.
Than Hillary or
than Joe Biden.
Oh, okay.
1 year. They're
year.
essentially the same age.
Yeah. But it's definitely going to be very interesting if he gets in. For me, the telltale sign, if he gets in, Aaron, will be if we see the opposition research on Joe Biden that obviously be coming from Hillary's camp, finding its way into the media. And that will probably happen either right before or right after he is ready to announce. Probably more likely to come in before to sort of poison the well so that as he's making his announcement, the media has some tough questions to ask him.
I don't know that they're going to be tougher. His questions, I would be surprised, although, anything's possible, that it'd be tougher than the questions that Hillary Clinton is getting.
Yeah.
I mean, the only one who doesn't seem to have mud on him is Bernie Sanders from the Democrat side.
Well, and the reason that he doesn't have mud on him is because they all recognize that he's got a very limited candidacy.
So do you think he is like Ron Paul is or was for many years to the right?
Yes and no, because I don't, libertarians is a smaller sliver of the party. I think there's a large and growing segment of the far left, and the socialist banner doesn't scare them off one bit. So, I mean, I think of the question that was asked of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, what's the difference between a Democrat and a socialist? She's the leader of the Democratic committee, and she couldn't answer the question. She could not think of an example or a definitional explanation for what's different between being a Democrat and being a socialist.
And socialist in the European vein, the Western European vein of socialism, not what we would, not the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.
Yeah.
You're not going to. That's communism.
Yeah, but nonetheless, it's So I think that he's not quite as marginalized as Ron Paul was, but I don't think most Democrats are saying he doesn't have anywhere to go. That he's got a very low ceiling.
But they're saying that, but he brings out thousands to his rallies.
Yeah.
I mean, thousands to his rallies.
Yeah.
So I think, it'll be interesting if he takes a few states. I mean, it's possible that California could go to Bernie Sanders.
I think that's doubtful, and I'll tell you why. Because California, in order to win California, you have to win in counties. Each county that you win gets you the electoral votes from that county. And I don't think there's enough counties that Bernie could win. I think he might pull a couple of the big counties, but I'm not sure that...
Well, I'm talking a primary election. And so...
That's what I'm talking. That's how the primaries do their...
Right. But I think that there's enough lefty primaries or lefty counties in this state that they could go for Bernie Sanders.
And again, I kind of disagree. I think that he'll that the number of lefty counties isn't big enough to swing the state. But I could be wrong.
We might wager on it, you know, and we'll stay up late on primary night.
Oh, we will. We're political junkies, so we will.
Gotta watch the game.
Yeah.
So I mean, because I think that everyone's worst nightmare is a Trump-Sanders presidential election, which is probably not likely. If Biden gets in there, he would be strong, very strong.
Yeah.
So if it's Biden and then who's on the Republican side? I mean, we can't have Trump.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. If the Democrats put up an old white male, the Republicans are going to nominate Rubio and Fiorina.
Yeah.
Yeah,
both of whom are terrific.
Yeah. But I mean, it would be, it'd be the interesting flip-flop contrast of how they've tried to say that the Republicans were the party of the old white men. And it kind of like what happened here in California in the last cycle, where we had on the Republican side, all the candidates were women and people of color, and the Republican or the Democrats were all white men.
Old white men. Yes.
And the Democrats won.
And well, because we're a bright blue state.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, it's a bright blue state.
Yeah.
So we're coming on to the end of the show, and I want to talk about what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Tobin is going to, and we've talked about this a little bit, will start being gone on Tuesdays and Thursdays because he's part of this group called Students Run LA, and he'll be running with his students, beginning the training for what will end up being the LA Marathon. They'll go to the LA Marathon.
Yeah.
And it's so hot right now that they do early morning runs on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then, yesterday we had Todd Brinker on the show, Tobin's brother, and so Todd will be joining me on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we'll probably have other special guests as well to keep it lively and fun. And tomorrow will be the first time that Todd and I do the show together. Should be really fun. And we're going to be talking with Ryan Hagan. He is a political reporter for the San Bernardino Sun, and he's the one who most closely follows and covers what's going on with the city of San Bernardino. And they've had some big stuff going on, so we'll bring him back on tomorrow to have a conversation about that.
Yeah, and I was actually just thinking another person that we need to try to book is Cassie McDuff from the Press Enterprise.
Yes.
She also follows this stuff.
She does.
And she has kind of a real sharp wit.
Well, she's a columnist, not a reporter, so
Yeah.
she can editorialize in her columns, whereas Ryan is just the facts man.
Exactly, and I'd be very interested to get some of her perspective because, again, she's been around for a long time and really understands all the players and all the various moving parts in these issues, and so it'd be great to get some of her perspective as well. So that's another one we got to get on our show.
That is. And why don't you talk a little bit about Students Run LA in the last couple minutes of the show?
Well, this is a wonderful program that started years ago in the Los Angeles Unified School District, and it was a teacher who ran the marathon himself and decided that he wanted his students to be able to do it, so he took a small group and started training them, and then it grew and grew and grew, and eventually they formed a nonprofit, and they got all kinds of sponsors, got the city of Los Angeles to jump in and help, and they let these kids run the LA Marathon for free. And, it's like $160 entry fee now. It's very expensive, so to get that waived for you is terrific. And
the kids get shoes.
The kids get shoes. They've got a major sponsorship from Nike, and the kids get shoes twice during the training process. And we take them starting off with like a little 5K, and then a month later we're doing a 10K, and then a 15K, and then a half marathon, and we just push. And this year, actually, our training cycle is much shorter. The LA Marathon got pushed up a month. It used to be in March. This year, it's going to be in February. So that's
because it's been so hot.
Yeah. Well, actually, there was some sort of conflict in LA, so they had to move it forward. But
we are completely out of time, so that is an awesome thing to be doing on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050. Have a great day, everybody.
This is KCAA Loma Linda, the station that leaves no listener behind. CNBC News is next, a courtesy of buysellmakeoffer.com, where you can post a video about items you have for sale. Sign up now. It's free.
Ranging from cars to refrigerators rose by a more than expected 2% in July. June's figures were revised up to an increase of 4.1% from a previously reported 3.4%. Schlumberger is buying Cameron for nearly $15 billion in cash and stock. Cameron makes drilling equipment and also supplies maintenance equipment to refineries and pipelines. Shares of